This weekend, censorship was another doozy. It's getting so bad that I'm surprised Facebook didn't ban people for posting pictures of their families celebrating Thanksgiving for violating the CDC's guidelines surrounding social distancing. And we know that a lot of liberals complain about Thanksgiving and boycott it because of how the early American settlers treated the Native Americans, but we've never seen them call for an outright ban like they have this year. And speaking of the pandemic, OAN, One American News, has been suspended from YouTube for one full week. They can't upload or post any new videos, and their entire channel has been demonetized because YouTube doesn't approve of their coverage of the coronavirus. This after Media Matters wrote an entire article complaining about various channels having videos monetized which dare to doubt the integrity of the supposed outcome of the 2020 election. They also complained that several of the videos have a merch shelf below their videos because not only do they want them stripped of third-party advertisements, but they don't want the YouTubers to be able to sell their own t-shirts on their channels. And while it may be fairly easy for YouTube to ignore Media Matters since they complain about everything that we do, several Democrat United States senators wrote a letter to Susan Wojcicki, YouTube's CEO, complaining that videos are allowed on the platform that dare doubt the integrity of the electronic voting machines and the supposed win of Old Joe. We write to express our deep concern regarding the proliferation of misinformation on your platform during and immediately following the 2020 elections and in light of the upcoming Georgia runoff elections. We urge you to immediately remove all election misinformation and take aggressive steps to implement prohibitions as other social media companies have done regarding outcomes in future elections. For example, one YouTube video claiming evidence of voter fraud in Michigan has more than 5 million views, despite any evidence of such fraud. These videos seek to undermine our democracy and cast doubt on the legitimacy of President-elect Biden's incoming administration. So they want videos banned that dare to doubt the legitimacy of Old Joe's supposed win, while at the same time the liberal media industrial complex declaring every day for the last 4 years that President Trump's win in 2016 was illegitimate and that it was a big conspiracy because he's a Russian agent and they stole the election from Hillary. They list a bunch of questions in here which they demand Susan Wojcicki answer by December 8th. The first one being, will YouTube commit to removing content containing false or misleading information as to the outcome of the 2020 election? They also demand that YouTube turn over any research concerning the platform's amplification of groups or organizations using YouTube to spread what the Democrats in the Senate say, election misinformation. So they want a whole list of anybody who dares question the security of the electronic voting machines, or who thinks that the Equal Protection Clause was violated because the mail-in ballots didn't have their signatures validated like absentee ballots do or like in-person voters do. They also want to know how much ad revenue YouTube paid to certain videos covering the election, or as the letter says, spreading election misinformation. And if we lose the Senate, then they're going to probably amend Section 230 of the Communication Decency Act, only it won't be to clarify the language about how the platforms can remove otherwise objectionable content without any consequences to prevent them from removing content that hurts their feelings or goes against the Democrat Party or certain facts that are uncomfortable for certain segments of society. It'll literally be so that the platforms have to remove objectionable content or they'll get fined for allowing hate speech to spread. Which is how they'll shut down Parler and Gab and the rest of the newer and independent social media platforms, because they'll make it illegal for them to allow people to say things that previously were fully protected under the First Amendment. If you don't think this can happen here, then you haven't been paying attention to what's been going on in Europe, because in various countries for years now, people get arrested for posting on Facebook, criticizing the Muslim refugee influx, and now even daring to suggest that the lockdowns end. Not just getting banned from Facebook for violating their supposed policies. They send the police to people's house and they break the door down and they get arrested. Amazon also banned another book this week titled Unreported Truths About COVID-19 and the Lockdowns, because nobody in America, not even doctors, are allowed to disagree with the all-knowing and all-powerful Mr. Fauci. And surprisingly, the book was later restored after significant outrage on social media, but who knows if it'll actually remain online. If you read my book, The Liberal Media Industrial Complex, then you know that over the last 2 years, Amazon has been banning books about vaccines, books criticizing child transitioning, promoting gay people having conversion therapy, and books about race, and more. Which books, you ask? I probably shouldn't say, otherwise that soundbite's going to be taken out of context and twisted as if I endorsed them. I do mention them in my book, however, which I hope you'll order in paperback from Amazon before they ban it, but some of them were actually banned after my book came out, so the list just keeps growing. And earlier this week, there was a disinformation campaign, and it was trending on Twitter that Parler was supposedly hacked and that people's personal information was dumped on the web and that the DMs, the private messages from thousands of the top creators were also leaked. Totally fake news, but Twitter allowed it to trend to try to prevent people from going to Parler and to try to convince people to stop using it. I'm actually surprised that Parler hasn't been banned by the app stores just like Gab was. That's probably coming fairly soon. Not only was Gab banned by the app stores, but they almost lost their domain name because the registrar gave them a 48-hour notice, or it might have even been a 24-hour notice to find a different registrar. And that's not easy when they've been smeared as bad as they have. So the next step is going to be ICANN, the Internet Corporation of Assigned Names and Numbers, which, allows companies like GoDaddy to register people's domain names. I wouldn't be surprised if it gets to the point fairly soon where ICANN just bans places like Gab and Parler and says that they're not even allowed to have their domain name. And when the fake screenshots of the supposed hacked Parler database were going viral on Twitter, of course they didn't lock or suspend any of those accounts, even though they have a policy against spreading hacked materials, which, as I'm sure you recall, they enacted to slow the spread down of Hunter Biden's emails and photos being spread. And as you know, virtually every one of President Trump's tweets since the election is being marked by Twitter as being false, misleading, or disputed, but not a single tweet from any of the official China state-run news agencies has ever had such a notification added to them. And now if you just like any of those tweets, a notification pops up that says that the tweet is disputed. You can still like it, at least for now, but you gotta then click down on the bottom, there's another heart. Just like if you want to retweet any of the tweets, they put up a notification saying, oh, please don't retweet, it's disputed. And now, if you just like something, they give you a notification that you've liked something that you're not supposed to. There was some good news this week, however. Michael Flynn got a pardon on Thanksgiving Eve, and he's making a list. He's checking it twice. I hope he pardons Julian Assange and Edward Snowden tonight. Trump Claus is coming to town. And if you want to bring Trump Claus to Christmas dinner and make it extremely memorable, then you're gonna have to order your Trump Claus sweatshirt or t-shirt from my online store. And this weekend you can get 20% off of anything if you use the promo code TrumpClaus, one word, at the checkout. It makes a great Christmas gift as well, as do all of my designs, and I know someone on your list needs a Liberalism Find a Cure shirt, an I Love Global Warming shirt, or any of my awesome designs. And with Black Friday weekend special, get 20% off of anything. So head on over to markdice.com or click the link in the description below, enter the promo code TrumpClaus at the checkout, and check them out.